Welcome back to the heartbeat of celebrity culture, the corner of the internet where we listen between the headlines and translate the silence into truth. You are watching Turkish series Stars, the place where entertainment isn't tossed at you like confetti, but carefully examined, felt, and understood. If you have been searching for a channel that treats the industry with depth, nuance, and the kind of sensitivity it deserves, your search ends here. Today, we are not just circling a rumor. We are entering a fragile, sparkling atmosphere that might be the start of a dream so many have quietly wished for. Our focus turns to two forces who have shaped the screen with their intensity and subtlety alike, Ozan Akbaba and Sinem Ünsal. Their chemistry has never needed a script, it lingers in the mind, long after the camera fades. And before we move into whispers of concealed rings and cryptic signs of motherhood, I want you to be part of this journey. Subscribe to Turkish series Stars and ring that bell so you feel every tremor the second the stars move. If you want to support independent analysis and peek behind the curtain with badges and exclusive theories, hit join below. Your support keeps Turkish series Stars lit. Now, take a breath, because the tale we are about to share is written in quiet ink, yet it reverberates louder than a primetime premiere. Reading the signs starts, as it often does in this industry, not with declarations, but with absence. In a world where every gesture is annotated and every silence hums, a new narrative has been stitching itself around Ozan Akbaba and Sinem Ünsal. This isn't the chaotic buzz of rumors tossed into the wind. It is a steady drum, a low, determined pulse in private dinner talks and restrained conversations among people who know how to keep secrets. The claim is twofold and breathtaking. That Sinem may be standing at the threshold of motherhood, and that Ozan has already sealed their path forward with a proposal that chose intimacy over spectacle. What makes this murmur compelling is not what we've seen, but what we haven't. No press releases engineered to trend. No staged photo ops. We are reading an outline drawn by everything that should exist and doesn't. No denials, no coy comments, no routine public banter. In the space where their public personas once sparkled, there is now a meaningful hush. The spark for this speculation began with a visual shift that did not slip past devoted eyes. Sinem Ünsal, a performer known for her impeccable, refined style, elegant, balanced, sometimes minimalist yet undeniably figure-aware, has begun to favor gentler shapes. Observers have noted oversized knits, generous coats that skim rather than hold, and ensembles prioritizing comfort over a sculpted silhouette. To a casual observer, this might be seasonal or simply a new mood board. But in the coded language of celebrity life, a softer wardrobe often whispers of a guarded secret. Why would someone so conscious of fit and form suddenly prefer drape and flow, unless something precious was being protected beneath? But beyond fashion, there is a subtler, deeper shift. Those who hover at the edges of Sinem's days speak of a change in rhythm. The constant quips and snapshots, the lively behind-the-scenes moments, have receded into a purposeful calm. The phrase protecting her energy has circulated among people who have seen her lately. It feels telling. It paints the portrait of someone redistributing her light, focusing inward with the fierce grace of a woman prioritizing what matters most. The spontaneous posts have paused. In their place, curated quiet, a pause that feels full rather than empty, as if waiting to be filled with a new kind of announcement. Running parallel to these whispers is a companion story, the one about a question posed without fireworks. The rumor mill insists that Ozan, a man with a grounded charm and the steady appeal of someone who doesn't need volume to be heard, kept it achingly simple. No staged drones, no choreographed spectacle. Just a private moment, stripped of performance, where a ring was offered as a vow rather than a trophy. Those who claim to know describe Sinem's reaction as quietly incandescent, overwhelmed, luminous, effortless. This version of events matches what fans have always imagined for them, a love that breathes, not shouts. In a world where attention is currency, could two of the most watched figures truly manage something so monumental without a glimmer of proof? Or is that total discretion the clearest sign of how deeply their inner circle respects them? Let's pause. Turkish series stars family. Does what we see on screen inevitably seep into real life, or do we project our favorite fairy tales onto people who deserve privacy? If Ozan and Sinem are preparing to marry and welcome a child, do they owe the public an announcement, or do we owe them space? Tell me, what kind of ceremony do you imagine for them? A Bosphorus side chapter written in warm light, or a hidden garden affair revealed to us only after it's already etched in memory? Share your thoughts in the comments and tap like if this deep dive is singing to your curiosity. Every click tells the algorithm that Turkish series stars is the home of careful, compassionate celebrity analysis. The narrative becomes more textured when family enters the chat. We're hearing about quiet tables and practical tones, about dinners that stretch just long enough to merge logistics with affection. This is the most grounded part of the rumor. No wild parties. No glittering chaos. Just families passing plates, comparing calendars, choosing the language of when and where over if. There is talk of loved ones arriving in Istanbul more often, evenings lit softly, where laughter lands close and conversation leans forward. These are the moments where foundations are poured. If these visits are real, they suggest that romance has matured into architecture, that two people are building something that can withstand the weather outside. Fuel arrives in the form of a quiet trip, short, purposeful, and unannounced. In celebrity vocabulary, that kind of escape is often a reset, or, more tenderly, a prelude to parenthood. Friends describe it as a place to exhale and outline the next chapter without interruption. They returned, we're told, with a change you could feel rather than see. Witnesses speak of a calm awareness in Sinem's eyes, and a subtle shift in Ozan's stance, an instinct to protect that reads like a gentle force field. He moves a fraction closer. He guides without crowding. It's a choreography that doesn't need rehearsal, the instinctive posture of a partner guarding something priceless. Did they decide there, far from the noise, to stop resisting the inevitable and begin planning the reveal? Work, of course, must be considered. Those who shape schedules from the shadows hint that timelines are being bent softly around Sinem. That is a bell that doesn't ring without reason. Sets are machines tuned for efficiency, they don't slow unless there's an extraordinary why. When call times become humane and demanding scenes shift gently, it suggests a production protecting its heart. Meanwhile, Ozan's own presence at work has sparked decoding games. He's reportedly repeated a line, simple yet loaded, "Everything is going very well in my life." For a man who keeps what matters behind closed doors, that sentence is not small. It sounds like a puzzle piece clicking into its space. On social platforms, the reaction is a story of its own. The audience is split into devoted constellations. The believers are already curating fantasy playlists of venues and midnight vows, constructing nursery dreams and envisioning a minimalist band on Sinem's hand. For them, the loose knits and the quiet weekends read like neon signs. The protectors argue for patience. They remind everyone that people are not storylines and that no truth is real until it's spoken by the ones living it. Yet even the cautious cannot ignore the pull. In a world of headline stunts and staged chemistry, the idea of a sincere love burning slow and steady, and then blooming into family, feels like a lighthouse. If whispers about the ceremony are to be believed, it won't be built for cameras. Words floating through the grapevine include intimate, meaningful, elegant. Imagine a historic villa with floors that remember footsteps, or a secluded seaside retreat that smells like salt and lilac. Sinem has always felt like quiet grace rather than ostentation, Ozan, steady and unforced. A circus would be a costume that doesn't fit. Instead, picture a guest list small enough to memorize, filled with those who know the softness and the storm, the private jokes and the everyday rituals. Allow me a moment to live in the what-if. If Sinem is expecting, and if they are engaged, then their hush is not strategy, it's sanctuary. It is the choice to live the sacred moments of a human life without the funhouse mirror of public scrutiny. They are holding their joy close, letting it ripen among people whose love isn't performative. And when that day comes, when a single black and white photo appears, or a caption barely longer than a breath, it won't simply be news. It will be a cultural shiver. A modern fairy tale shared in lowercase, a whisper that travels farther than a shout. Remember this. In the economy of fame, silence often roars. The refusal to correct or deny is a message. It says, we are living. It says, we will invite you in when our hearts are ready. Until your screen lights up with their truth and magazines reorganize their covers in a heartbeat, we remain the watchers at the edge, listening, filtering, telling the difference between noise and signal. Here at Turkish Series Stars, we will keep our ears low to the ground and our eyes steady. If you want us to investigate the getaway theories further, or trace their paths from first spark to this moment, tell us below. Like this video to push thoughtful storytelling higher in the feed, subscribe to join this community, and tap join if you want to stand even closer to the fire of our research. Until the quiet breaks, stay attentive. We will be here, reading the pauses, honoring the story, and waiting for the day when Ozan and Sinem decide the moment has arrived to speak for themselves. This is Turkish Series Stars. Thank you for watching.